Hello friends, welcome back to a new episode of Noobs in Disguise, where the concept is simple. One anonymous replay, two professional players trying to figure out what level it is we're looking at. And today we're paying attention to the Terran player called Spring versus the Protoss player called Ocean's Breeze over here. Protoss versus Terran. Lambo, what's up?
What's up? How's it going? This is already some good stuff. The Protoss managed to wall. Terran is going to gas. This is how I wall. I have no clue if this is how you have to wall, but I always mess up my walls if I try to do it with just the two big buildings.
Yeah, I think this feels proper as well. I like that you did the American "How are you doing?" or "What's up?" You know, the one where you don't really have to answer, but a nod does fine. I remember the first time I went to America and people kept asking me, "How are you today?" I would answer them like they actually wanted answer to the question. So the guy taking my order at the restaurant always looked very confused when I said, "Today is going all right. You know, we went out." He's like, "What?" And you did it here as well. It's where you asked the question and you just kept talking, pretending like there's no answer necessary.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of small talk in general, and this question always seemed very weird to me. So I just completely forgo this. If you actually want to know how I'm doing, you wouldn't ask it like that, you know?
How are you today, buddy? How's it hanging? All right. We have a Reaper into Reactor. And that means that if this is going to be a safe play, we'll see the command center on the high ground. This is obviously a good level, right? We're hitting all of our tight timings. The Protoss player looks pretty decent as well. It's going to throw down a Twilight Council here, is what I assume. Yes, that's indeed correct. So depth is a little bit late, though. You see that? 3 seconds delayed.
Yeah. He didn't chrono right away.
Ah. Yeah. Reaper jumped in as well. That's kind of ballsy. I guess it is a very small map. Now the Reaper, if it jumps up here, this is actually going to be fantastic stuff. Because you know that on this map, you're always going to scout it, right? Like you 100% of the time.
Yeah. I'm perplexed because this is exactly my release with my off race, but I don't have a clan tag, so it can't be my off race. But yeah, I do it exactly the same. Also, I don't open like this, I think. But it's exactly my wall as well, so I just need to make sure. Either way, Protoss is safe so far. He saw that there was a full wall. Well, it wasn't actually a full wall, but second depot went down. So it was 2 gas for the Protoss, who's going for a blind battery. He's going Templar Archives Rush.
What?
It's definitely not me, that's for sure.
Okay, this is not a build. Or at least I've never seen this before. But you know, like, this is not a build that I've seen before, but it's definitely something. Like, it's still a tight build order. Like, it seems relatively efficient, fast gases. I really wonder what the plan is. You think he's going to walk across the map with Templar without a prism?
What if he just wants to feed back the Medivac for extra damage and then snipe it with the extra stalker?
There's no way. Is there?
I mean, what? He can't do more than one High Templar with the timing of the Templar Archives, so you might as well. I mean, I feel like a second stalker would be better, all jokes aside, but...
Yeah, they're getting Blink Research or Charge or whatever. Okay, we get Storm now. We have one Templar warping in the natural, which is the wrong base. It's the double mine drop heads in towards the main over here. That's going to be -2 workers, -3 workers. And both mines stay alive. That's a very big deal. This is why not many people go for this insane type of Templar rush.
He's going to have a nasty Templar drop timing, though, which I really don't think the Terran will expect because he didn't see it so far.
There is a chance that this Terran is going to move out with like 16 slow Marines and be met by 2 storms 5 minutes in, lose every single Marine, and then die to the counterattack of 3 Stalkers and half an Archon.
Yeah, that sounds like fun, and that sounds like it's not even that unlikely to happen because the Terran has been making a lot of Marines and tanks. He could try to move out with that. He's hitting with a Liberator now. The High Templars with Reaper was not a fight I saw before.
Yeah, not once in my life. The mines heading back in towards the main base. Almost gets a fat hit there, but doesn't quite get it. Mine survives. Good pickups. Solid macro all around as well here by the Terran player. It feels like the Terran is honestly playing quite well so far. I'm impressed. I feel like the Terran is better than the TOS, or at least the TOS is playing a joke build. So it's going to be hard to look good playing something like this. Marines indeed are going to push across the map. We'll get a cancel over here on the third base. We have 4 Templars with at least 1 storm each. And that perhaps means disaster here for the Terran player, as they are going to land in a big way. Storm killing every single Marine and dealing a lot of damage against these tanks as well. I think the Terran should just be heading back home after killing 11 workers and cancelling the third. I feel like this is a bit too risky for my taste, as every single tank here is probably going to end up falling. Stalkers will also go down. This was a bad call.
Yes. Oh, the Widowmine though gets another 4 probe kills. I mean, it's still good enough for the Terran, because the one Stalker was not enough anti-air to deal with the Liberator and the Widowmine drop. The Medevac is still alive, 1 Widowmine is still alive. And even though the main push was dealt with in a fabulous fashion, I might add, the actual economy behind it from the Protoss is not looking too hot, as he's very far ahead in resources lost, but that doesn't really matter if you lose 15 workers.
Yeah, that's fairly irrelevant. Ooh. Terran with the 3rd CC already done is already going up into... That's 5 racks, right? Yeah, 5 barracks. Like, the infrastructure for Terran is so sick. The eco is going to be so sick. Unless Terran loses like 10 workers to this drop, which doesn't happen. I feel really, really good for the Terran player. A single Viking should be produced the moment the reactor finishes up, so you can deal with that storm drop. And just with the Prism in general, it's going to be frustrating to have to deal with that. Follow-up is going to be a Robo Bay. This is kind of a wild playstyle, I'm not gonna lie.
He lost 7 more probes to the Widowmine once again. He even was in range to kill the Medevac the entire time with the feedback. Because look at the Medevac HP and energy.
Yeah.
Like at this point, it's actually what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, he's going double Prism.
He went for a 2nd Prism. It's double storm. He's just messing high Templars. I mean, this guy wanted to send in this replay. Unless this is some YouTube challenge. But
no, the Terran sent it.
Oh, the Terran sent it.
Yeah.
That is so much better. That actually makes it so much better.
Yeah, Terran sent this game. We have another Prism here heading in towards the main base. Storm drop is not quite gonna hit. I mean, a single Viking needs to be built. Like, it's clear as day to everyone here that a Viking is gonna save the day.
Well, not to the Terran.
Yeah, not yet. Not quite. You know, I thought it was gonna be Colossus, but it's actually just for the War Prism speed. I feel like our Protoss player is trolling a little bit.
He's trolling a little bit for sure. I cannot believe that the Terran is not throwing down a Ghost Academy. I feel like a Viking is very obvious, but I feel like Ghost Academy is even more obvious as a counter to what is happening here.
Jesus.
Okay, loses 2 high Templars there. That was not the best micro.
Nice move. Feedbacks a Raven, loses 300 gas. At the same time, though, the Prism back in the main base. We have a couple of storms. No response here whatsoever out of the Terran. Terran at this point has lost 22 workers. Has lost 25 workers, has killed 22. So these Templar drops actually have been dealing a lot of damage. A couple more water balloons, as well as a storm in a natural. Protoss also halfway across the map at this point.
Oh, the Viking.
Oh, did it get it?
Yeah. The Viking was the answer all along. I mean, at this point, now it doesn't look as bad anymore for the Protoss. The Terran also completely forgot combat shields, so his Marines are not very good against the storms. And the Protoss will just kite him.
It started so good as well. I really thought we were gonna get like a Grandmaster game here, but I mean, the mechanics are still good, but we're floating a little bit more. No combat shield, the late Viking. Movement seems to be pretty decent, though. Terran's going to move into those Zealots. There's also no concussive yet. This has been a disaster when it comes to the upgrades for our Terran players. Going to pick up, try to fly in towards the main base, where there's just a single Stalker. Prism with Templar, by the way, is great at defending this type of stuff.
Yeah, Prism with Templar on the other side, though, just suicided the Terran army. So that one wasn't too hot. And yeah, the Protoss now lost both of his Prisms, so now he's just using his Robo tech for actual Colossus. And all of the cool High Templar Storm drop action is... Yeah, it has kind of ended, sadly, here.
Yeah, but I mean, we got 29 workers, we lost probably a bunch of Templar. How many did we lose? 7 Templar, 2 Prisms. Yeah, that's somewhat significant, I guess. This is also such a weird army to move across the map with. This doesn't feel real, you know?
Yeah. It's annoying. It's annoying to engage this type of army, though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, until you have, I guess, 3 Vikings, or you can see ahead. If at any point you just get a scan, then it becomes much easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely tricky to fight, especially if you don't know it's there. So I kind of like how Breeze is doing this over here. We have 2 more gateways. We have a robotics facility now in the natural. It's the second robotics facility in the natural. Fort base about to finish up as well for Breeze. Fort base on the way for spring as well. More depots. I feel like we're just going for like a maxed out tank push, 1-1 upgrade. Would have loved to see a couple of Vikings with this though. Like 4, 6, 8. Really any amount of Vikings would do.
Yeah, it would help for sure. The Terran army still looks very strong, especially if he catches this army. Look, he moves out, now he scans, now he's like, what the hell? If he actually just EMP'd and A moved, which he had time to do there. Yeah, the pro's dead.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, one more big scan forward. A couple of storms are hitting as the Prism is barely gonna stay alive. Templar splitting all around. Are gonna get a couple of pretty big storms here. One more storm here from the bottom. Hello, Breeze. There we go. He's gonna hit it, but boy, did that take a long time. Another storm here from the bottom is... Nope, not gonna connect. As Breeze not really paying attention there. It's much easier for us because you can just zoom out all the way, of course, and keep track of all the Templar.
Ooh. He's getting dropped in the main base as well, where he lost his High Templar War Prism too already, so now he's trying to engage into the tanks. There's not that much bio anymore left with the tanks, but at the same time, the drop in the main base is trading super cost effectively here, killing half an army already and the entire mineral line of the Protoss, so that triple medevac drop in the main base completely changed the game here once again.
I've completely forgot that these guys were across the map. I didn't remember that at all. Raven also came in, but I think a couple of auto turrets has 3 kills total. Not entirely sure how it got there, but we now have a Hellion in production, as well as 2 more Vikings. I think the Hellion is a mistake, the Vikings aren't. At least I'm happy with those. As the drops are going to continue dropping. I feel like this is pushing it a little bit. Dropping is really powerful when other stuff is happening. It's not as great when there's absolutely no second threat on the map. As a result, this is just going to get cleaned up. These are like the Terran players that feel like they're multitasking when they're just controlling one drop and moving the screen back and forth at a high pace. Yeah.
Which really is a multitasking. You can also start with a drop, but this is just prep work to move out.
Yeah.
If you really just have a single prong, is completely pointless at this level, which we're assuming is low Grandmaster, right?
Yeah, somewhere along
you
those
with me
lines.
there.
Yeah. Protoss managed to come back. It does feel like the Protoss is a little bit better, I feel like. Guess you just kind of keep getting back in there with the supply, with the probes. The worker production seems a bit more consistent as well on the side of the TOS. Expansions coming out faster. We have an armor coming as well for our Protoss army finally, 40 minutes into the game. Can we get some feedbacks maybe? No, just a storm on top of the army. Would have much preferred a couple of feedbacks. Or like 3-4 ghosts just in range for those feedbacks. There's still 3 Templar available, as well as 4 Colossus. We get another big fight here. It needs to be so careful. It's better just to pre-drop if there are a lot of Vikings. Just drop them and then keep the Prism in the back, maybe with 1 or 2 Templar. Shouldn't be flying in here anymore. That's really quite silly. As it's just exposing your Templar for no reason whatsoever. Ghost count is insane, by the way, Lambo.
Yeah, the upgrades of the Protoss are also going to be insane. Once next to upgrades finished that he just started up, the Terran really slacking on those upgrades. He does have the armory now, but doesn't have the gas to start extra upgrades.
I wonder where that gas went. Not the 15 Ghost.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna struggle to deal with a 3-2 Protoss army, even if the Protoss army doesn't have shields. Oh, that was an awful blink. What the hell? Terrible blink forward. Not even Patience would be proud of that one.
Minus 12 Stalkers, just like that. As a slightly wild move. We're seeing 1 Colossus has fallen as well. Templar count is, well, at 0 with this army. Well, there's 1, but it has no energy. There's a couple of Templars still just sprawl around the map. Could be useful later on. Oh, there's one over here. He's gonna get sniped. Really does feel like Breeze is often not paying attention to anything. So this also is not a great fight. Like, not looking at the main army here, not looking at those Templar. It's actually gonna get completely cleaned up. Ghost count is extremely high. Units are running kind of low on HP though, as the stims have been plentiful. One more big storm could potentially change this. Doesn't hit anything, so that wasn't a big storm. We have another Templar here coming from the bottom side with 2 storms. EMP misses, second EMP hits. And was that the last Templar that had anything? Archon morphs right in front of this. Is that it?
That has to be it, right? The Terran army is so much better than the Protoss army at this point. The Protoss is transitioning into 5 robos, but 3 of them are building right in front of the Terran army. 2 Immortals running in, trying to do stuff. And our man Breeze just rage quit the game.
I feel like you're not allowed to rage quit if you're trying to troll someone, you know? If you're making a YouTube video, that's okay, you know? If you're doing some challenge, that's completely fine, but you're not allowed to rage quit. That's not how it's supposed to be.
Was he trolling? Maybe this is his best style. He was kind of bad at controlling the High Templars that he split, but he was really good at splitting them. So he definitely has done this before. I also felt like it was almost BM from him to snipe the High Templars that were just standing there the entire time. He could have just stormed at any moment. Instead of, EMPing them first.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Can you go back, by the way, to like 12 minutes to check the triple drop? Because I think you missed it entirely. And that drop kind of won him the game.
I did miss that entirely. I've completely... Okay, here it goes. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, and then the Zealots that were there, they come in. The Templar doesn't drop in time. Oh, it was target fire as well by the Terran. Oh, that's neat. That's very neat. This is the worst possible defense. Yeah. Everything went wrong. Losing the Prism, all the Zealots, all the probes. And then you start... this is such a classic where you start sending in like 5 units and then 4 more and then 5 more. And you just keep losing them again and again because you want to... this is
Why did you send 10 probes there? From the natural to run into the double drop. What the?
Hello, sir. There's also some in the natural. It's like when you're getting robbed. Don't forget about the money in the sock.
Unbelievable.
That was one hell of a drop. All right. I actually think I have a really good clue. I think it's my turn as well to go.
Yeah.
First. So I think the Protoss player, despite losing, is better. It felt like the Protoss kept it way more together. Like there were transitions coming into play. I think multitasking-wise, not the strongest player, but I think the TOS is higher and the Terran a little bit lower. Decent build order and then some nice rotations, but weak in kind of the transitions into the E-base, and just, it felt like the worker count was low. I know he lost a lot, but still, it felt like they could have been much, much higher. I'm gonna go for 57.29. 57 under 29.
I had mine written down already, and I had 57.50, so very close.
Yeah.
I think the Terran played very well actually in the early game. He played better than the Protoss. The Protoss floated a ton of money. I mean, the Protoss also made it incredibly hard on himself by only having a single Stalker. But the build order execution was pretty good by the Terran, which I feel like if you execute a build like this, you're gonna get very high MMR just by doing that. And the rest also was fine. So
yeah, good Reaper control as well. I liked everything. Felt safe. Good scouting. Okay, let's open up the thing. Server is EU, submitter is T, and the MMR is 5,550. And it was Jorix, the Terran player from the Netherlands, and the opponent was Goblin.
I actually would have guessed Goblin, but that's because I saw the Platinum Hero symbol, and I feel like he has a low MMR account where he's just trolling. So Goblin would have been my guess.
All right. Well, small win for me, but this is not going to matter in the grand scheme of things, but does matter for this week, as a W is a W. This is going to be it for us this time. Be sure to check us out next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central European time. As always, a new Noobs in the skies. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.